Welcome to another episode of Tangled Rights. I'm one of your hosts, Justin W. Wilson, still an Esquire somehow, don't know how, but here we are. This is Shane. He can introduce himself.
This is Shane. I'm Shane. That's it.
Yeah.
Have you watched an episode before? This is great then. I'm Shane D. Cox, attorney at law, Esquire. Right?
Justin.
That's what we always say.
Yeah.
That's our intro every time.
Not intended to be legal advice, not intended to clear a lawyer-client relationship. If you want one of those, call us if you're in our state. If not, call someone else. We love that for you.
Not intended to be a judicial opinion either.
Nope.
That's the first time we could say that.
No judicial opinions today because we have another esteemed guest.
Hello, I am Judge Jessica Peterson, your district court judge in Department 8.
What floor and number is that?
That is on the 15th floor. 15A is my courtroom. It's weird that the courtrooms don't match the departments, right?
Right,
That gets screwy all the time. You see people in the hallway. Oh, 15's on 15, right?
And the best part is if you're wearing a tie in that room or in that building, they're like, oh, you know where everything is. I'm like, dude, I don't know where Las Vegas Justice Court 16 is. I don't know.
You know where 9 is.
Well, yeah, there's I'm in 9 all the time. The JC2, JC9, 12, certain ones, for some reason, I find myself in Goodwin a lot. I find myself in Saks a lot. And obviously Bonaventure, obviously it was Jacinto. Like there are certain ones I just end up in for whatever reason.
It was that way when I was a litigator too. Back in the day, I would always end up, all my civil cases ended up in front of Denton for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. And I know it's random, so it is weird, but it does seem like it's... I wonder if there's like an...
Randomly unrandom.
I always wonder if there's some kind of algorithm thing to it because it is strange.
Yes.
It does strike me as odd. Just open it.
I am opening it, but I don't want to do it by the microphone.
Do it as loud as you can.
Okay. Have you always been in that courtroom?
No, I was over in the Phoenix building when I first started.
I thought I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, so I got moved over there and then got criminal shortly after I got moved over there because you can't have criminal when you're over in the Phoenix building. So
right. There's no transport.
They don't have the transport.
They don't have the transport.
They don't have the secret elevators.
I've got civil, criminal, and probate right now.
Probate
is my docket.
How much fun is that?
That's recent, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I've had probate since I started, but I just took on a huge amount of when Judge Sturman retired. I just took on more cases in probate. I like probate.
Can you explain to the people how a judge, if you know, gets the various things? And what things can a district court judge get? You just said criminal, civil, and probate. Are there any other categories, and how do they get them?
For district court, we have eviction appeals because that goes up from justice court to the district court is the appeal process for evictions. We've got various different specialty courts, mental health court, drug court, veterans court. Those are offshoots of the criminal court models, but our chief is the one who's responsible for all of the assignments.
That is
Weiss right now.
Okay.
We're going to be
it Jones?
It was Bell before
Bell,
it was.
right,
So it was Bell when I first took the bench. Mm-hmm. Now Justice Bell, and then Weiss has been the last 2 terms. So the last 4 years he's been our chief.
Tiara is over the criminal. She's the chief.
She's the civil. She's the civil criminal. She's the presiding criminal judge.
Oh, that's what it was.
And then Tara Clark Newberry is our presiding civil.
Which I didn't know until recently. It seems, from what I heard, Newberry's dropping her criminal track.
I don't know anything about that.
That's what somebody said, and I was like, I don't even know how you'd find that out, but whatever.
So the chief, when I first started, Justice Bell came to me and said, What are your strengths? What would you like to do? And I told her what I wanted to do.
That's nice.
And that's what I ended up in. I don't know. And so that's where I've been. I don't know what Chief Weiss's process has been as far as reaching out to people when they've come on as appointed or not. I don't know what that process is, but I've had the same docket other than getting criminal. I was on the med-mal court for a period of time.
Is that a special offshoot for civil?
It is a special offshoot for civil. It had 10 judges on it, and it was developed so that there could be, because med-mal is pretty specialized, so it was developed. I was on that for a period of time, but then I was doing civil, criminal, probate, and med-mal, and it was just... I was setting people on trials in med-mal until 2027 because obviously criminal takes precedence, and so there just wasn't enough room. So,
sure.
Yeah,
that seems like a lot. I mean, I don't know what the volume is for each one, but I'm guessing it's, you're adding, it's probably exponential at a certain point because of it's not just, 50 cases here, 50 cases there, 50 cases there, 50 cases there. because one's got the higher complexity level.
Right.
One has more hearings.
Right.
At some point, you're going to get just overwhelmed.
Well, and it wasn't even that. I just didn't have room. So trial schedules wise, I didn't, because criminal takes precedence, and then you're trying to put med mal in, and there wasn't enough days in the week. I can't manufacture time.
Judges don't have extra. You still only have 5?
I know. I as much as I would love to be able to manufacture time, that would be my one wish. If I had a special power, give me more hours in the day.
Sure. That sucks. I mean, I guess I never really thought of it that way. I mean, you obviously like setting trials and things. I think about the court schedule because I know the court's very busy because I'm not the only litigant in there, whether it's a criminal case or a civil case. But I guess I don't think about it from the perspective of like, oh, criminal, civil, this. And each one is going to have a different set of whiny attorneys that are going to come in there and bitch at you. And like, I mean, like, okay, so wrongful death cases, things like that, med mal, you hear those guys and you see how far they're getting set out. And it's like, man, that sucks. Because you want to wrap the case up, right? Just as much as the court always seems to be concerned with efficiency.
Correct.
Right, and there is a level of, I understand, like it's probably a double-edged thing, right? Because you have to sit back and let them litigate to find what they need to find in discovery. But at the same time, hey, we got to get going, guys. Let's move this along.
Yeah, well, and we have to fill out reports every single month as far as where the cases are and if they've been, we have to send out notices to litigants and to attorneys if they haven't done anything on their case for 6 months and it's been a case that's been ongoing for a year. We have to bring people in and say, what are you doing?
What's that called when you do that? Is there a certain order that it's called?
Order to show cause.
Oh, no. It's one of my least favorite things to get. When I get an e-filing and it says order to show cause, I'm like, fuck.
Like, what did I screw up?
What did I mess up?
What did I do? Yeah.
And usually, sometimes things do slip through the cracks, and we understand that. But because we have people that we need to answer to up at the Supreme Court level and make sure that our cases are moving appropriately.
They're the ones that care?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess they're in charge of the judiciary, but that's wild to me that it's that high up.
Yep.
I would figure it'd come from Weiss.
Nope.
No.
And then he would answer
there is a case management committee within the district court, and our reports go to the case management committee, but ultimately it also goes up to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have to directly answer to them?
No.
Well, the collective you. I don't mean you specifically. I mean, like, let's say somebody's calendar was languishing. Does the Supreme Court say, hey, Judge?
Case management committee would do it first.
Okay.
And then somebody would come to talk to you and say, what's the problem?
Sure. How can we help you?
How can we help you?
That backhanded, like, let me help you. But really, it's like
your average case length is
what are you doing?
Pretty long.
It's like when someone's calling you stupid without calling you stupid. It's one of those things. It's like, hey, what's going on? How can we assist you to be efficient? It's like, hey, you're inefficient. Fix it, right? Like, that's what it really means. Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Do any of the judges that you're aware of, like all of them litigated, right? They all have actual experience, whether it be only in criminal or only in civil. It's not a situation where they were like a transactional attorney and then they come in? Because
I can't think of any.
I'm thinking and I don't
racking my brain and I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I don't know who would want to be a judge after doing transactional work either.
Right, because the reason I'm asking that is because it seems like, although some judges are a little bit harsher or whatever about it, they all seem to have that same mind of let's move things, for good, right? Like, let's get this thing to resolution. We know your clients want it. Like, nobody's ever a jerk about it. But I think it's good when you have a practical standpoint of what it's like on this side.
Yes.
Because, like, sometimes you hear things from people and they're like, you don't know what this is like. You don't actually know what we're doing, do you? Because you're asking me something that is impossible.
Yeah.
Right. So it's good that everybody, as far as the judges that I see up here, they all have that same
I think
mindset.
it's varying different levels as far as whether or not they were public defenders or did
DAs.
criminal or
as an example, Holthus.
Yes.
Because I appear in front of her a lot from my track still. And she retired from the DA's office. So she never touched civil to my knowledge, or like maybe civil asset forfeiture, but just like adjacent stuff.
Right.
And then she gets a civil calendar now.
Yeah.
So it is a little different.
Yes.
And that was the same for you, right? Because you did a civil.
I did civil. I was solely civil for 20 years.
Were you with the same firm?
I was with the same firm out here when I moved out here in 2007. I was there from 2007 until I took the bench.
Okay.
In what year?
Did you take the bench?
Oh, 2021.
Okay. So 14 years.
Yeah, almost. It would have been 14 years in April. So
Okay,
I
what was the
started there
firm?
April of 2007. It started off as Flangus McMillan Law Group, and then it became Flangus DeLocus Law Group, and then it was Flangus Law Group by the time I was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Flangus?
So Flangus is Gus Flangus.
Gus Flangus. Okay.
He's been around this town forever and you're shaking your head like you don't know him, but most everybody, if you drop his name,
Just the name,
knows him.
though. Right? Because usually,
It's
you know.
a unique name, is what
No,
you're
but
saying?
it's
or-
unique. But no, I'm saying I don't think I've ever.
Well, have you heard of Leo Flangus, who's over here on?
Yeah.
Okay, they're cousins.
Oh, okay. And what was the practice area?
General civil.
Okay.
So we did everything. I like to say that I did everything from municipal all the way up. I've practiced in every single court from municipal court all the way up to federal district court, including the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The
Really?
only court I have not been in is the United States Supreme Court.
As far as the jurisdiction
As
of our
far as
state.
the jurisdiction, yeah.
That's cool. How was arguing for? So I'm assuming you had to argue.
I did not argue. So we did a mechanics lien case that started off in federal district court, and it ended up going up to the Ninth Circuit on an appeal. I prepared all of the briefs
you did
and
the
all of
briefing.
that, but I didn't get the benefit of doing the argument.
Benefit. I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like, yes, it sounds like conceptually like this is kind of
Right.
like a lawyer moment for
Right.
me, but at the same time, then you have to think, oh, I have to go argue in front of the Ninth Circuit. Fuck, because like the consequences are so much worse.
Right.
Some nerves, too.
Yeah, if you screw that up, like let's say you're having an off day,
Yeah,
that can be a real problem.
yeah. So
Or they have questions you're not anticipating. Like they might not see
that's
it the
gonna
same
happen.
way as you.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Every time I've had to deal with any sort of appellate thing, I walk out of there thinking, how the fuck did they ask me that? Like, what you know? It was
My mom
awful.
told me she listened and you can't swear anymore. So, yeah, that's never happened.
Okay,
I did talk to my mom. She is Mrs. Cox.
Mrs.
yes,
Cox.
yes.
Sorry, the other guy's Mr. Cox.
That's my father-in-law. It's not. Whatever. We're good.
I don't understand.
She
What do
told
you
me to remind you, and I now that you
Not to
said
swear?
it.
We're like
Yeah.
8 in at this point.
Yeah,
know, right?
I know. Yeah.
maybe we should put a quarter
it's
jar
fine.
in the middle of the table.
We
make
should.
them dump,
I
make
like
them
that
dump
idea.
quarters.
A
I like
swear
that
jar.
idea.
Let's do a swear jar.
My English teacher, shout out Sally Kennedy, Sedan High School. She had a swear jar, and it was a quarter for everything that wasn't an F bomb, and then $1 for the F bomb.
Oh, you were probably broke growing up, weren't you? Your allowance go in
Bro,
there?
I had a job at Pizza Hut, dude.
He can turn it off in court, right?
I was balling.
He can turn it off in court.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah,
Just not here.
So I want to talk about a couple things
Yeah.
first. Where'd you go to undergrad?
Evergreen State College in Washington State,
Where is that? Like what part of Washington?
Olympia.
Okay, nice area, real pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. So I started off actually at Highline Community College. I did 2 years there and got my associate's
Smart.
degree. And then I went to Evergreen State. Evergreen is a liberal arts school that has no majors and no grades. So you can do 180 credits in underwater basket weaving and get your Bachelor of Arts. Or you can do, like I took classes called Making Hard Choices, where I did a legislative internship and a statistics class. And then you get written recommendations from your teachers. And I had one that said, Jessica should seriously consider graduate school when she finishes here because she's got a brilliant mind or something along those lines.
Sure.
So
And so you listened?
so I listened and I applied, but because I didn't do great on the LSAT and I didn't have grades, so the only school I could get into was Thomas M. Cooley Law School, which is in Lansing, Michigan, which actually worked out because my godparents lived in Ann Arbor and my mother had just moved to Michigan from California in 94 when the earthquake hit in 94.
Sure.
My mom moved out to her best friend, which was my godmother. So
Okay.
I had family in Michigan, so that actually worked out. So I went to Thomas Cooley Law School in Lansing, Michigan, and then did 3 years of law school in 2 years and 1 quarter. Graduated cum laude from there.
What's that mean? I'm asking because I obviously didn't.
Top 10% of my class.
Okay, because it's what?
It's Latin for with.
No, I know.
Lauder.
I
With
know,
honors.
But isn't it like magna summa and then like it's
Yes.
there's different
yes.
things?
It was just with honors. So
Okay,
I had
all right.
higher than a 3.0 grade point average when I graduated. Took the bar there, started off at a big firm, medical malpractice defense firm. Did medical malpractice defense and a little bit of asbestos litigation. for about 4 years, decided that is not what I wanted to do.
When they hired you, did they give you the hammer to hit yourself in the face with while you were having to read the crap that
Or
you
is
have
that
to
like
read?
a few months into it?
Yeah, you have to buy your own hammer?
You want to talk about reading something, hit yourself with a hammer in the head. When the HIPAA legislation came out, I had to read that and analyze it because we represented all of the hospitals in Michigan. 3 notebooks about that big.
It's like reading a VCR manual too. It's not light reading at all.
No, not light reading at all. So I was there for about 4 years and then decided that's not what I wanted to do, and then kind of
slow learner.
Punked around for
Took you 4 years.
Kind of punked around for about 3 years doing my own thing, taking whatever walked through the door, moved back in with my mom. And then in 2007, my mom said, "You have a law degree and you need to find a job." So my dad had met John McMillan out in California at an event and got his card. And I called him and came out here in March of 2007, interviewed, got the job, and moved out here a month later.
And then you would have taken the bar after.
I took the bar after. So I came out here, took the bar in July, passed it, and
Good.
yeah.
Nice. The rest is history. And here we
Rest
are.
is history.
Now we're a district court judge.
Now I'm a district court judge.
So you got elected 2021. You had
Correct.
to run for office.
Yes. I ran in 2020.
2021. Okay.
Yeah,
and that's
you start January 1.
January 20.
January
Yeah.
2021. And that's different here because we've had one person on recently, and she put in for judge and then had no opponent. So
She's judge-elect.
Almost kind of appointed. Colleen was
Brown.
on here before.
Okay.
Baharov.
We've
Brown.
Brown.
She changed it.
Brown.
It's Brown.
Sorry.
I think we've mentioned the appointment process a little
Yes.
bit on our podcast over the last couple of years, where
Okay.
when a seat opens up, some
Yes.
people can apply for it, and then it's up to the governor to choose.
Well, there's a judicial selection committee, and you have to get through the judicial selection committee, and then there's usually 3 people that are sent up to the governor, and then he appoints from those 3 people.
Right.
Not always 3, but that's usually the
Usually
way
it's
it's supposed to work.
Right. And they'll have like an interview process. I'm assuming I have a friend who put in for one of the muni court spots.
Okay.
And he told me about what happened. And he was not ultimately successful, but he walked me through what occurred. And I'm assuming it's the same with other departments, right? Like
I
whether
would
it's
imagine.
muni or whatever.
I would imagine.
Okay. All right.
So you were voted on and elected by
Yes.
the people
Yes.
in 2020, which
Yes.
I want to focus on because you're here also out of the kindness of your heart, but also you're running for re-election.
I am running for re-election.
Yeah, we need to get better about talking about that because I'm too good at like just bullshitting with my friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cursed.
I'm
ears.
going to tell my mom.
Dude, there's this lady that I have to deal with. It's an older gal in my life. You can probably guess who she is. And if you swear around her, she's like, you'd think I punched her in the face. And I'm like, lady, I know I'm not the first one that said that in front of you. Quit it. Just stop. It irritates the shit out of me. The crap out of it. Anyway.
Still a swear word.
I can't.
Still a swear word.
I can't. Anyway, yeah, so when I'm talking to my friends, it's just like I start talking and you start telling me a cool thing about your life I didn't know. So we had Alicia on from Murphy over in Muni.
Yes.
And we talked for 45 minutes before we even got out that she was running 50 minutes. And so we went 10 over so we could actually flesh that up.
Okay.
And I was just having a good time talking. It's like I'm just enjoying the conversation.
So I'm trying to force,
Yeah, he's like,
Trying to
no,
force the
let's
issue.
get there.
I'm trying to remind people, you've been elected before.
Yes.
So when you have the signs, and I've noticed this, you got to say re-elect.
Yes.
On your signs, and you
Yes.
got to put
Retain.
the road. No, retain is for
Retain
people.
is for people that were appointed.
Oh, okay, re-elect.
Yeah.
Re-elect.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Judge Reynolds, I think, is one who was appointed, and now he's facing
Well,
an
no,
election for
because
the
he
first time.
actually
Or was he elected?
He was elected in
No opponent?
2024 with no opponent.
Okay.
So he does get to say re-elect.
Okay.
Even though
That's
he
good.
even though
That's
he
what
ran
Colleen will do.
unopposed.
She'll say
Theoretically.
re-elect because she's elected because she has no opponent.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's like if one person votes for her, that's all she needs,
All she needs to do is check the box for herself,
and she gets the job.
and she gets the job.
Okay, so
who's eligible to vote for you?
Everybody in Clark County.
okay,
So it's all of Clark County.
So that includes you.
Yeah.
You can't vote for Alicia Murphy.
dude, I
can.
just found out last time where I live, basic Sunset and Pecos. I'm not in Las Vegas, even though
Oh,
89120 Las Vegas, Nevada is how you'd mail me a letter, but like I'm not, so I
you're
can't vote
you're
for
not within
Muni.
the city limits.
Stupid. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that shit on there. Fuck them.
They give you the thing and she won't be on there.
Oh, I'm gonna write it down.
All right, whatever. Write her into whatever.
Supreme ruler, Justin Wilson.
So what made you want to get into, I'll call it politics, because I'm sure you didn't realize.
It is political.
I've talked to so many people where it's like, man, like I was
it's nonpartisan.
I wanted to be a judge to just help. And I thought I would be a good fit for it. And the people around me told me that. And then I get into it and man, like the political sphere of this is more than I expected.
The political sphere is more. And I said this the other day. It's not even because I love getting out and meeting people. I love talking to people. I don't mind going to the rubber chicken dinners. I like the schmoozing. What I don't like is the amount of money that we have to spend that could fund so many other worthwhile things.
Far more worthwhile than just a campaign.
The amount of money that I'm spending on signs could fund the Compassion Initiative that I've been a part of their organization for the last 6 years.
What's that?
It helps out the homeless population.
Okay.
And her budget for the year is $12,000. The amount of money that I'm spending on signs could just about fund her entire budget for a year.
Or that double her budget for a year.
That makes me angry. It just does. And so that's the part that I don't like. I don't mind the other part of it. I think I'm very qualified for my position. So I don't mind getting out and telling people who I am and what I do and talking to people. I like that part of it.
But isn't it a little different
hate the money.
than other politics because you're simply saying what you bring to the table.
Yes.
You're not advocating because like a politician,
I'm going to do this when I get in office.
Says, this is the issue I'm going to tackle. This is how I'm going to handle it. With you, I'm a fair and impartial person. Here's the qualifications I have to prove that I'm fair and impartial.
I have experience
I have
that
the
you've
experience
seen.
necessary to analyze these things.
Yes.
So you're looking at it more from like the 10,000 foot view than like what I would, because it's not the same, right, for a judge.
It's not the same. I will say it is a little bit frustrating because there are Democratic organizations out there, there are Republican organizations out there, and regardless of the fact that this is a nonpartisan race, they will still ask you, what is your
stance on X, Y, or Z?
Well, not even your stance. What is your political party? And they will vote down ballot based on what your answer is, even if you say this is a nonpartisan position. And quite frankly, and they won't let you talk at their meetings sometimes so you can go to a Republican meeting, you can go to a Democratic meeting, but if you're not registered for either one of those parties, sometimes they won't even let you say, I'm a judge running, I'm your current sitting judge in District Court Department 8, I'm running for re-election, because you're not registered for one of those parties. I've been registered nonpartisan since I was 18 years old. And I absolutely, much to the chagrin of campaign managers, friends and family, I absolutely refuse to pick a party because this is a nonpartisan position. I've been registered nonpartisan since I was 18 years old, and I am not going to pick a party in order to curry favor with pandering. One or the. It is, and to me, that's my line in the sand. I have integrity and honesty, and I didn't do it the last time. I'm not doing it this time.
The thing about this that's always struck me as strange is that they even have, I guess there's got to be like a way to select people, but that they even put like, I don't know, your full name or that your picture's out there, because then people are going to start voting on it for a judge, which is different than a politician on stupid stuff that doesn't matter, right? Like I've heard some things that like if you're up for re-election, some people just automatically, they're already the judge. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's not. Or if your last name starts with a C and the other person's last name is with a D, you're first. Well, they're first. That's not how you want your judges picked.
No.
What?
No.
Like what? I want qualified judges, right?
Yes.
And I guess it's a special place that I'm in because I'm a lawyer. And so I see this on a daily basis.
Right.
I interact with you guys.
Right.
And you affect my life through my clients.
Absolutely.
But what if I was just a regular person? I still wouldn't want judges that were picked based on, your hair color's brown. I think that's great. What? No.
She looks like she'd be nice. All right, cool. Like
her shirt has a heart on it. Right? Like, doesn't that sound insane?
It does.
I don't know.
It does.
But that also gets like, it's a weird thing, right? Because if we back up and we're like, what's another process? Appointments. that's issue 2.
Right.
Because then you've got a politician who flat out is then, and whether that's good or bad, I'm not saying, but you can see that there's issues with both of them.
With a partisan governor selecting, right?
Right.
So
there's theoretical issues with both of them at least, right?
Right.
Whether that happens or not, I'm not saying, and like obviously we can't speculate.
And I don't know, we all talk about what's the right answer. I don't know that there is one, absent literally saying, okay, well, we're going to leave it up to the attorneys. Every single attorney in the state of Nevada gets a vote on who the judges are. I don't know.
That sounds bad too. That sounds bad too. That sounds real bad.
I don't know what the answer is.
Because then you're going to end up with a power structure that's set up with, I need to make these people happy in a way,
right,
that's going to cause them to want to vote for me, which might affect rulings that are not. That's you're then not getting to the impartiality where one day I find with my left hand, one day I find with my right, because the facts were different. The circumstances were different. The law applied to the facts and circumstances gets me to 2 different results, right? Similar situation, same law, let's say, but you could end up with 2 different results based on the facts. And that's the point, right? Because every case is factually different.
Every case is factually different. And people ask me, how do you, because obviously when we are running, there are things that we need to do. People reach out. We ask people for their support. We ask for their endorsements. We ask them for help with money, as far as helping us to get reelected.
Sure.
And I always tell people, because people say, well, how do you keep that line separate? One of the ways that I did it the last time, and I'm doing it the same way this time, is I don't know who donates into my campaign on like a daily basis. I get obviously my campaign expense reports,
and you have to submit that.
And I have to submit that. And when I'm doing briefing, I don't even look at the names of the attorneys. I read the briefs, make my decisions, and usually I don't even know who's coming in until the day of the hearing. So I try to distance myself from I don't judge based on who the attorneys are. I judge based on the law and the facts.
You wouldn't want to see a brief, see my name on it, and know, man, that guy's an asshole. I don't like him. So I, automatically.
Vice versa.
I'm being a smartass.
Well, you like us too much already, right?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Right.
Exactly.
We've sang some pretty epic karaoke together. So.
We did.
We did sing some epic karaoke together. Well, and Justin was my very first criminal trial.
All right.
Okay.
And it was a doozy.
It was a doozy. But 16
days.
Yeah. And so we spent a lot of time together. And he was always
to think I'm funny and personable, and I believe I was prepared during that trial. Which
you were very prepared during that trial.
I'm sure helps. Like as a judge, and not individually, but just generally speaking. Like, what's your biggest pet peeve with attorneys?
Not being prepared.
Yeah.
And how often do you see that?
Depends on the level of preparedness that you're talking about. I don't see, like, people will come in and they know their briefs, right? They usually know their arguments. I like people that are taking it to another level where you know what the other side is going to argue and you're prepared for that. Or you know what the judge is going to ask you and you're prepared for that. Because anybody can regurgitate what you've written, but it's the next leveling of being an attorney that I think is missing in practice. You're looking at me like I'm crazy right now, Justin.
How would you go into an argument and not know what the other side's going to say? How would you not have read their briefs?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Apparently I would, because that seems to me to be basic. Like, that's the same as regurgitating my own arguments, is because especially if I wrote a motion and then a reply, I don't get the reply if I don't read the op.
But some people don't file replies at all.
And some people really focus on their argument as opposed to, sometimes there's things that are not in an op, right? That they might, that the judge might have thought of.
Sure.
And those are the questions that I think that people don't always prepare for.
And that I will agree with you, I think is the next level up from some of this stuff. Yeah. Being able to think outside of the issues we're in and something that's tangentially related, or, another angle you could approach this that they're not, because you're your attack didn't necessarily invoke this defense, and I'm using that. You see the point I'm making.
Or if there's a distinguishing, you've cited to a case, but that case really isn't on all 4 points, so it's distinguishable. So did you look outside of that to see if there was anything in other jurisdictions that might answer the question? I think also there is, and we've been talking about this, I know that it's going around the bar, know it's going around with attorneys, is the lack of civility just between attorneys is really frustrating as a judge. Watching people talk over each other. A, it makes for a horrible record for you guys. And B, it creates stress and it creates tension. And when you're creating stress and tension and your judge is having to feel that stress and tension being created, every once in a while, I'll be like, damn it! Stop yelling at each other. And then I start yelling. Right. And then everybody's yelling. And it turns into a muckety-muck situation.
And then your marshal has to pull his taser. and then these guys who were talking real tough realize that they're not that tough.
And then everybody says I'm being mean because I yell.
So can I ask you kind of a tough question?
I don't know. You can ask.
She might not be able to answer.
Whether or not I can answer it is a different
It's similar to what Shane asked about the partisan thing. And I think we all understand that judges as a front-facing position in society, you're just like sometimes my name is in the news. Like one of my buddies texted me the other day, I was on some video because of a defendant I have. It's not something you think about, right? I'm going to open an office, I'm going to defend people, whatever. Oh, the back of my stupid head's going to be on the Channel 5, right? Has that been a difficult thing? Not anything specific, but just being like going from a regular person who may or may not accidentally sometimes be in there because of what you're associated with versus now you are the judge in this department and whatever comes your way, whether it's low tension, high tension, low, focus, high focus, like has that been an issue or like something that's been difficult to adjust to just as a person?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had a lot of high profile stuff. I just handled the Nathan Chasing Horse trial, and I was all over the news.
That was the fellow that was in Dances with Wolves.
Yes.
Craig Mueller was a defense attorney.
Yes.
Who were the prosecutors on that one?
Brianna Pucci and
Bianca.
Bianca Pucci, thank you, and William Storms. Or not William Rolls, sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I like Bianca. I remember because I walked in because Craig had caught me in the elevator and asked me can you cover a couple things?
Yes.
13 appearances, Craig. That's not a couple. Anyway, and I walked in and saw Bianca. I was like, oh, hi. I like Bianca a lot.
Yeah, no.
She and I get along
It was
well.
it was a good trial. It was a good trial. We had set aside 4 weeks for it. We got done in 2.
That's great. That's the opposite of ours.
I know, right?
That sucked.
So it was, but I was all over the news in that trial.
Well, I mean, is that partially because of the fact the dude was in a very well-known movie?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
I mean, because he's a celeb, even though he's like,
Yeah. So I had that case, and then there were a couple of Greater Las Vegas Short-Term Rental Association when they were doing issues of the county commission had passed a bunch of code enforcement to get the licenses. I was on that case.
Was that the one that restricted to where you couldn't have X number of, what is it? Airbnbs or whatever?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I was on that case. So I was in the news for that case. I had the issue of the separation of powers for our legislature and whether or not certain individuals, i.e. teachers, could serve in the legislature. So I was in the news for that case. So I've had a lot of press over the last 5 years, and I was always a pretty private person. Wear my heart on my sleeve with my friends, so I don't hide anything from anybody.
Sure.
But I never was really out there on the front lines. I'd go to work, I'd do my thing, I'd hang out with my friends and family and go home and be, just be me.
Just live.
Being on the front lines of things and, walking into I know you, I saw you on the news. It's like, well...
Well, and the funny part about that sometimes, and not you, but like in general, when they'll post a still of somebody, it's like in the middle of it makes it look like they were really giving them the business. But let's say it was just like, and this, and I don't think, and it looks like if you were just to look at the picture, you think, God dang, she must have been being so mean or whatever.
No, so I was talking about this the other day because I have, as you get older as a female, your mouth tends to turn down a little bit more. I have the worst RBF face these days, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But when you're in the middle of a trial,
so you're just sitting there listening, but it looks like you're.
It looks like I'm.
Well, okay. I think most people don't know. You got a monitor up there with evidence you're looking at during a case when there's questioning going on about specific evidence. I see the judges and they're looking at their screens.
Yeah.
And some people might think, man, they're distracted by what their text or whatever.
They're on their phone.
Although they are focused, hyper-focused.
Not you, and I'm not naming any names, but there have been a couple of times that I'm looking around, I'm paying attention during something, I'm like, this person ain't even listening to me. And I'll tell you what, as a litigator, when you're arguing something,
yes,
I'm talking, if I got a balloon, you just popped it. Because I'm like,
oh.
But it's either I'm winning and they don't even care,
right?
Which is probably what I should think, because
obviously positivity.
Positive but for me, it's like, damn it,
manifesting.
Well, and I'm not a photogenic person. I never have been. When I get a good picture, I'm like, yes, that's a good picture, and it's like 1 out of 100. So the RJ has just a host of horrible, awful pictures of me looking like I am just angry and mean and mad, and it's not.
Have they ever misattributed you to? There was another Jessica Peterson who ran for office as well. You guys don't look alike at all.
Unsuccessful.
She was unsuccessful.
She ran against Holthus last time.
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
I thought she was justice.
She was justice.
That's right. It was.
Yeah, it was justice court, and it was a 5-way. Like a 5-way race.
It was one of them big splits. Yeah.
So
yeah, she was in justice, which is different. Yeah.
No.
I'm guessing. Have you ever scrolled through pictures and they're like trying to say it's you, and it's like, that complexion's a little darker than mine. I'm not trying
to be funny or anything, but like one of you are Caucasian, one of you's not. Like.
Well, when you pull up, if you just type in Jessica Peterson on Google, you'll get both of us to pop up.
Okay.
And it was funny because when she did run, there were a bunch of people that were reaching out to me like, wait, I didn't know you had to run yet. I thought that it was another guy. And I'm like, it's not me. It's not me. It's okay. But she might have gotten an uptick just because of the name.
Or vice versa.
She used a middle initial in hers, I think, maybe to distinguish.
So when we were both in practice, because she's at the public defender's office, and so we were both Jessica Peterson, I started to use my K, which I've always signed it, but I've never actually put it into things officially. But I started getting her mail. So I'm opening up a plea deal, and I'm like, wait, what is this? I have no idea what this is. And so I reached out to her at one point, and she had just gotten married. So she hyphenated, and I started adding my K so that we would be able to distinguish.
That sucks, though, after you've been licensed to hyphenate, because then you got to go back and change everything. That's a process.
Justin Wilson has that issue, too. You guys have very common names, right? Like
Jessica Peterson, that's pretty common.
Peterson,
Justin Wilson, very common. When I checked, when I was younger, there were like 1,600 of us in the United States.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if the little name generator was right.
Okay.
But there's another one in town, Justin L. Wilson.
Okay.
And I never went by my middle. I never, because I think it's
pretentious.
Yeah, it makes you sound like. But I same thing, because I started out doing criminal and I'd done PI, so I was doing PI. Well, Justin is with Jones Wilson out of Henderson, and they do strictly PI.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'd get something, I'd be like, damn, I don't remember this client. Oh shoot, I got a medical record, and then it's Jones Wilson. Like, thank God. Right, because you're thinking I dropped the ball because there was just me at the time where they were getting stuff for criminal. To this day, though, I'll sign up and I'll confirm on the record, and it'll be Justin L. Wilson. And I'm like, you idiots, he's never done criminal. Justin W. And that's why I have to do it, and it sucks.
Yeah, so I always tell people, I'm like, I am not being pretentious by using my middle initial, because when we do search warrants, so when I have search warrant duty and I get a telephonic search warrant, and they say, I'm going to sign your name, and I always have to tell them, make sure you put Jessica K. Peterson, because otherwise it could be confused with Jessica Smith Peterson, who is a public defender, and obviously a public defender cannot sign off on a search warrant.
Right.
So,
and would not.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't call her.
But I always have to tell people, I'm like, I'm not being pretentious.
No, it's fine. And people sometimes they'll look at me, especially people who've known me my whole life, but then I think they get it, right? And if they don't understand it, then they're idiots anyway. So big question.
Yes.
Do you like being a judge?
I love being a judge. I think I make a difference.
Is that why? And that was going to be my next question is why do you like it?
Do you make more of a difference now in criminal? Or?
I think so.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, I'm good in civil and I know the law. I practiced it for 20 years, both plaintiffs, defendants, represented both sides, businesses, individuals. So I know a lot of different areas of civil law and I was good in it. But there's something very, very rewarding when you've sentenced somebody, given them an opportunity to probation, they've got to drop down, they come back in a year and they have done everything that they're supposed to do, and they say to the other defendants that are sitting there, listen to her. She gave me an opportunity, and because she gave me an opportunity, I've been clean and sober for 6 months. Got my kids back. I have a job. I have a roof over my head. There is something very, very rewarding about knowing that you gave somebody an opportunity to fix their lives and they actually did it. So I love that aspect of my job so, so very much. I also, just in the civil realm, what my favorite thing to do is settlement conferences. Because having practiced in the areas that I did, and having represented both plaintiffs and defendants, I can usually see where both sides are going to go. And so it's very rewarding to be able to, get a case off of one of my other colleagues' dockets, right? So that they don't need to go to trial, but to be able to go back and forth between the parties and help them resolve their cases. And obviously I could do that as a mediator or an arbitrator, but I get to do it on a regular basis. And people reach out to me to ask me to serve as their settlement conference judge. So I love that aspect of my job as well.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that that's something that people sort of overlook, and the benefit of it too, because it's not the same as a regular judge,
right?
Where you can't really do an ex parte communication, for those of you who don't know, is if like she had an issue with how I was approaching things and she says, look, you're not looking at it the right way. You need to look at it this way. You can't do that as a judge.
Right.
But as a settlement conference judge, you literally are bouncing back and forth, and you can come in and be like, Justin, idiot. Or go back to the other person and say, whoever you are, idiot,
Yeah.
Both of you are dummies. Let's meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I can also, because we as colleagues, the different judges, we do talk. So while there's 32 different flavors in the RJC of different judges who do things different ways, certainly we talk. And so there are times that I can be like, oh, you think you're getting that piece of evidence in? Not in front of that judge, you're not, and so it's helpful to be able to negotiate those types of things with and be frank with people and be able to get them to settle their cases.
Well, and I think that's actually the nuance that changes the landscape of a case a lot, both in the criminal and the civil side, is like clients, maybe they don't understand it because they don't deal with them on a regular basis, but also some attorneys, I think, overlook the consistency of a certain judge's rulings, and it's whether it's good, bad, or indifferent is unimportant. Right, because that's what it's going to be until you go up there.
Yeah.
Right, and if you don't go up there, well, that's what it'll be.
Right.
And I might think I'm right, or maybe I am. Let's say, legally speaking, I know this judge is off base. Cool. I have to appeal it.
Yeah.
And that sucks and takes a long time.
Yes, it does.
So it's important to consider when you're looking at the landscape of what is the goal.
Right.
How do I want my client's mission to be achieved?
Yeah.
Do I want 100% 2 years later, or do I want 85%
now,
today?
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I'm just using a percentage to say achieving our goals.
Absolutely.
Like whatever that may be.
Yep.
And people definitely overlook that. And so I have had settlement conferences where they're like, listen, because the defendant, especially I've only done it in criminal, the defendant's saying something, the judge is like, sweet summer child. Do you know what department you're in? And they don't say that. I wish they would. That's a saying I love. I think it's funny.
That is great. It's almost like
it's not mean. It's kind of like saying bless your heart.
Bless your heart, or you're precious.
Yeah. Oh, how sweet. Which is really, listen, dummy. And they're like, listen, the department you're in, brother, please.
I wouldn't make that argument if I were you.
That's not going to work well. Hardy is my favorite with that, with the way that he's. That's interesting. Because you know how hard he is. He's so very mellow and such a sweet guy, and like, okay, that's a way to think, right? I wouldn't go there, but it's just interesting, and it is a good look at things, and it's nice to get a judge who's a judge, but able to take the robe off for a moment.
Yes.
In the settlement conferences, they're just wearing whatever they're wearing.
Sometimes I wear my robe. I find that, especially if you have litigants there, right? Sometimes they need to be heard. And so they're getting, if you wear the robe, you start off with them in the courtroom, they feel like they're getting their day in court. And sometimes they
need... And a
need...
little showmanship in front of the client, I think, too, right?
Sometimes they feel like they need to get their day in court before they're willing to
go
settle.
Anywhere.
They need to be heard. They need to get their story out. And so oftentimes I will meet with the attorneys first and say, okay, tell me about your client. Does your client need their butts kicked? Do they need to be handheld? Do they need somebody that, tell me what is the best way that I'm going to be able to get through to your client. And I think that that's really, really, I spend an inordinate amount of time on settlement conferences. I will continue them.
I'm going to disagree with that word.
Why?
Do they settle?
Most of the time.
And it's not inordinate. It's appropriate.
Well,
yeah.
Compared to other judges.
A lot of judges will not. I will continue a settlement conference. A lot of judges will say,
you had your day, get out.
See ya.
Well, not necessarily in those words.
That's what it feels like.
But obviously I'm not going to be able to get this done for you. And so,
Good luck.
Good luck.
Go with God.
I will a lot of times continue a settlement conference for them to, I have a question. I can't go and tell this person that this is a good settlement in good faith without you answering this question. So get me the answer to this question. Let's come back. How much time do you need to answer that question?
Sure.
And so I've had that happen where they haven't settled the first time around, but they've settled the second go around. So I will continue to work with the parties as long as I see movement happening.
Sure.
And there was one time, I think we spent probably about 12 or 13 hours before we got it settled, because we spent about 8 hours the first day and then another 4 the second day, but we got it settled.
I say oof, but I've done that with mediations.
Yeah.
Where we've had a mediation that lasted all day and it's like, we're really close, let's come back. And the mediators don't care. The difference here is the settlement conference is free.
Yes.
And it's sort of like a judicially created, I don't even want to call it like a pressure release, right? That way you get a second option that doesn't cost anybody anything.
Right.
So there's no access to justice issues. It's just a judge who's willing to do it. Granted, you're being paid for it, but you're being paid the same anyway.
But not
exactly.
paid extra.
Yeah. Not paid extra. Yeah. So, but I love doing them. You can reach out. You don't even need to go through, because we have the actual settlement conference program where all of the judges are required to give 12 days, other than the business court judges. We're required to give 12 days per year to the settlement conference program to have settlement conferences. I've done a lot more than that over the years. And you can reach directly out to my department. There are a bunch of us judges that will do that you can reach directly out to the department if you can't get it through the settlement conference program. Just call us. We'll get you in.
I can promise you, the thing that does suck about that is with any governmental thing is you got to send this brief in. You got to do this. And it's not a brief, but the settlement conference notice has to be filed before they'll even talk to you. And it's like, dude, the judge told me to go to a settlement conference. My client wants to go to a settlement conference. The prosecutor does. I'm telling you, who cares? Don't make me fill the stupid form out. Just push the button. Just hit the button. Generate the thing.
Justin likes government.
I hate the government.
The criminal settlement conference program is a little bit different than the civil settlement conference program.
I know.
So.
I get it. I understand there's a reason. I'm just being a jerk. But it's frustrating. So all that being said, what's your least favorite part about being a judge?
Not being able to tell somebody to make an argument. The lack of...
Ooh, if you see it on the table and you're like, oh, you're not doing it.
Or I'm sitting there and somebody is not objecting to something. And I'm just like, oh, God, if I was down in the well, I'd be objecting all day long to this. So having to set aside that legal training that you have and that and not play third lawyer is...
I've had judges do it, though.
It's a challenge.
They do.
It's
but not like that. Like let's say, especially when I was a baby attorney, I'm doing something, but I'm doing it on purpose, right?
Right.
Because I know there's a hearsay objection here, but I'm just going to do it. And if they don't, whatever. And then I see the judge look at me, and I'm like, and the defense attorney's writing notes or whatever.
If they don't object to the hearsay,
and
it's
then
in, Your Honor.
the judge looks at them to the point that the person looks back at the judge, and he's like, You know, he's not saying it, but he's like, come on, you're going to get sustained. All you gotta do, I'm not even going to let him respond. It's definitely hearsay or whatever, right?
Objection, hearsay, sustained.
And I'm like, you got me. You should pay attention. And maybe it's not, maybe they were just too in their notes. They were too, like, not in the moment enough, too focused on what they were writing down for a cross or whatever. But yeah, I've definitely had it happen.
Yeah, well, and there's been times.
You can also sua sponte. You're allowed. Right, like if something's so evidentiarily poor.
Well, yes. I mean, if it's clear error, if it's something that the Supreme Court would come down and say, this is clear error, you should have jumped in.
Because it's at that point you're getting into something else.
Right.
Right. If the evidentiary objection is so terrible, they're ineffective at that point.
Yeah.
Right, which is another issue for appeal. Right, and so. To preserve
the record, but sometimes people want certain things in because they want to be able to argue it a different way, and so knowing whether or not they're doing it on purpose or they're just missing it, but it's like I'll just be like,
you're sitting there biting your lip, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, we've gone. Super quick, I have a question because I'm facing an issue right now.
Okay. I don't know if I can answer it.
You'll be able to.
Okay.
Were you ever an arbitrator?
I was.
So I'm an arbitrator, and I have a tough case that was submitted to me last week, and I owe these people an order.
Okay.
But it's really complicated. It was really, they fought like all throughout the arbitration. I have a tough decision coming up. I'm sure you've been in that situation more than me. What advice do you have for me?
Do you have any other arbitrator friends that you can bounce things off of?
Yep.
Are you allowed to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like specifics?
Yeah.
Or just generally like this?
No, you can.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like, you had to make the call, or can you?
I am making the call. I
get that, right? But like you can phone a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I do that all the time with my arbitrator friend.
Yeah.
I've asked you about this case too. But.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's I think the best. I mean, we as judges, ultimately it is our decision, right? But if we're in a tough situation, I know most of us will reach out to other judges and say, "Hey, have you looked at this before? Have you dealt with this issue before? What's your thought process on this?" Ultimately, it's your decision. Right. But same thing. Ultimately, it's my decision. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with talking about, you can't talk to the public about a pending case, but you can talk to your judge friends.
Has it ever been to the point, I think I'm almost to this point where it's just like, just make a decision, you idiot. Like I know this is serious, but just make the call and who cares,
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. Think about it from the perspective of being a jury, right? Being a jurist. And they have to make the decision, right? So put yourself in the jury box. Who is it a civil case, obviously?
Civil case, yeah. Obviously.
So who swayed you by a preponderance of the evidence? Who gave you the 51%? And then make that decision.
I'm jealous of people on juries because sometimes they don't know the meaning of what they're doing either. Like, okay, I'm giving a judgment for this much, but is somebody really going to pay it? Or I found guilty, but what's the sentence really going to be? And they don't know, So sometimes, I know exactly what it means, right? Like.
So take that out of your.
I'll just remove myself from that.
Remove yourself from that.
That's good advice.
Part of me wishes that juries did know.
On some things, I think.
No,
right?
I wish that they knew the sentence sometimes, the sentence range. Because sometimes I've seen juries or heard about juries that come back and they're like, oh God, if I'd have known that, I would never have convicted him. But I thought it was going to be a slap on the wrist. And that's what he deserves based on because if you're looking at the sliding scale of evidence, they're convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. But let's say there were some issues and they saw those issues, right?
Right.
And so they're like, it was him, but there's these mitigation things, like whatever. He's going to do 10 years for this minimum? I would never have convicted him. I've heard that. I've heard that comes back. And that then to me says that the verdict wasn't, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was a guilty verdict.
But justice wasn't served.
And that's per public opinion, per the opinion of the people, right? But it seems to me guilty is binary, or not guilty, or, finding in favor of versus not in favor of, that's binary. But then there's all these other intangibles, like you talk about the money. You talk about the prison sentence or the non-prison sentence, right? Like, and it just makes it so complicated. And I know it's a human system, so it's never going to be perfect.
Right.
But at the same time, like when I hear those things as an attorney, I'm like, holy crap. Like, could you imagine having your client and then you talk to the jury and they're like, oh no, if we knew that, we never would have convicted him. And it's like, God damn it.
Then it's on the legislature, I guess.
I
but
know.
that's just, it's tough.
Yeah, it'll never be me. Would you ever want to go to another level? Like, would you ever want to be a Supreme Court or a federal judge? Not that you ever would or wouldn't, but like, is that something that you would ever consider?
The only reason why I would, I'm kind of a law nerd. I like reading.
I thought I liked you.
She can like different things than us.
I'm kidding.
I like reading the law. Like everybody wakes up, my mom's always like, did you hear about that in the news? I'm like, yeah, no. Because I wake up in the morning and I read the Nevada Supreme Court of Appeals unpublished decisions.
That's for your job now. Did you do that before being a judge?
Yeah.
Loser. Nerd. All right. If you just started when you were a judge, then
Good episode, guys.
I used to because I was doing like a new area of law and there's HOA foreclosures and new decisions unpublished were coming out. So I was tracking them. Haven't looked at them in years because I don't care.
I find it interesting, and I like.
Just tell us it helps your job, and then we'll.
I like digging into the law, and so from that perspective, like research is one of my favorite things.
Okay.
So from that perspective, I think I would probably enjoy. Plus the Supreme Court with the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals, you have other people that are also making the decisions, so it's more of a working together to come up with a decision. So from that aspect, I think that I would enjoy that. But I love what I'm doing right now. It's more on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I think you also get because it's not as slow. The process isn't slow.
Right.
You get to do more.
Yeah.
Right? Just by volume.
Yes.
Right. You get to affect more change.
So, I mean, listen, if I was asked to do it, would I think about it? Sure. But I like where I'm at.
So
your boots on the ground right now.
When the next
I like
president
where I'm at.
taps you and says, hey, I need a federal district judge.
Yeah, maybe. Never know.
But she's nonpartisan, so that comes.
That's never going to happen.
That comes partisan.
Yeah.
So that'd be a tough one.
First time the United States gets a libertarian candidate as president, which
then
inshallah,
the world
that'll
will
happen.
explode the next day, I'm sure.
Oh, get out of here. What's his name? Javier Milei?
Is this Mexico? What
No,
country
it's
are we talking
in
about?
Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina. The most recent libertarian, and he took them out of a deficit within 6 months. All these other very, very positive things.
What a surprise.
Real weird that libertarianism functions, because he went through it and he had this list of all the government agencies on the wall in sticky notes, and he is like me in how he speaks.
Slash him.
No, it wasn't slash him. It was piece of shit, and he's throwing it off the wall. It's such a good video. It's so funny. He looks like a clown. Because he's got this big hair. He's you remember that client we had that you said asked if he's an Elvis impersonator?
Yeah.
You know, Elvis had kind of the poofy little hair thing.
Yeah.
And he's got the sideburns. This guy has that.
Oh, nice.
And it's so funny. He's a very, very eloquent speaker. He's very, good. But when
we're tracking down that video and putting it in.
We're going to put the video in. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. It's so funny. He's like, piece of shit department. This shit's gone. It's
Ministerio de Turismo y Deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera.
So he pulled the Elon Musk card.
Sort of. It wasn't quite to austerity levels, but what Germany had to do to balance the EU when Greece went tits up. Whatever, it happens. And that's when you cut basically all social programming. You just go down to the bare bones. It wasn't quite that, but he was just going through, and I think it was more of making a show of things. But it did work, is the point. They're still functioning. Everyone was like, oh, they're going to fall apart and the country's going to implode. And they're doing better now than they were 4 years ago. So maybe it could work. That's all I'm saying, people.
All right.
Anyway, I'm off my fucking
stopped talking about our judicial candidate,
Yes.
Jessica Peterson.
Tell us
Department 8.
8.
Department 8.
Tell people what they can do to vote for you, where they can go.
So I will be on your November ballot. It's just me and one other person. So
That's not a primary.
I will not have a primary.
Because there's only two.
There's only
Okay.
two. So I will be on your November ballot. I will not be on your June ballot because I do not have a primary. So go to the voting booths and
Is there a place that they can look you up? Like,
yes. So www.jkpeterson4judge, the word for,
okay,
the word for, F-O-R. Not spelled F-O-U-R, F-O-R.
We can spell. Okay.
Forjudge.com is my website. JK Peterson for Judge is my Facebook site. I've got cards, but obviously we can't do that.
Sure.
But all of the information is on there. And then my cell phone number, I'm going to give it out because it's on my business cards and I hand those out. So
nice.
702-306-0975. If you look at my website, you have any questions, I am an open book. Obviously, can't talk about cases, can't talk about how I would rule on a certain case if it came in front of me. But any other questions that you have, I am absolutely happy to take any questions.
They can ask about your qualifications.
Okay, last
yes.
question. You're the judge. I want you to make a call, okay?
Okay.
Better karaoke singer, me or Justin?
I'm not doing that.
You have to.
No.
You just said make hard decisions.
What's better mean?
What's
it's
the
your
definition
choice.
of better?
Yeah,
It's your choice.
More showmanship or better voice?
Either, whatever's better. Your call.
Yeah, this is your
You
your
just
opinion.
told us we got to make decisions.
Yeah.
I don't have enough facts to make that decision. We
Oh,
need
you're
another.
punting. That's bullshit.
We need another. We need another.
That means it's you. Because
We
she's
need another-
karaoke'd with me more. She's got plenty of facts. That means it's you.
We
and that's
need.
okay.
We need
I'm fine
another
with that.
karaoke. We need another karaoke.
My Radiohead
time.
creep, amazing, by the way.
Bro,
So.
it wasn't the singing so much as how fucking into it you were.
Yeah,
was-
you
it
Your
were.
was-
hair was like, because
It
he
was
went in like this
fantastic.
and his hair came out all messed
Yeah.
up
It
and
was
stuff.
fantastic.
He was going nuts.
You can say me off.
He
air,
was
that's fine.
sweating. It was brilliant. I mean, he sweats anyway, but like he was sweating a lot then.
I'm a human.
I think that we should do this again. We should have another karaoke time. And
now you've got the question.
And then I've got the question, and I'll be paying better attention.
Okay, you
But
weren't
here's
prepared.
the thing.
Okay.
Do we do it ninja style or do we do it Dino style? Because my vote is Dino style.
Oh, Dino's is fun.
Let's see if homie's is brave when he's got 70 strangers
I will.
staring at
I'm
him.
good.
Ooh, big words.
I'm good.
From a regular sized guy.
All right. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.